why can't my girl Lihua be happy? Like, why can't this girl be happy? Like, every time we go to Lihua, she's got to have some tragic story. Somebody's double-crossing her. Somebody's treating her like garbage. Can we not just have her be happy? Hopefully with the end of this whole segment, everything changes for her. Because they got the head lady in waiting, who she thought she could trust, is out the door. And even Maomao kind of insinuates the idea that everybody around her is obviously appointed by the head lady in waiting. And so everybody around her is literally trying to cause her problems, is trying to stop her, whatever. And so, yeah, it makes sense that once she's gone, hopefully Lihua gets new people around her and she could just be happy. Just let her be happy. But no, honestly, the whole connection between Shin and Lihua, I kind of assume was going to be the case because they look very similar. The two of them look very much so alike. I almost thought they were going to go with the whole sister thing, but yes, it ends up being cousins. They were both raised for the sake of being one of these consorts, and yes, Lihua got chosen, and she wasn't happy about it. It also kind of implied the idea that she even had a chance of being like a medium, like a middle consort, like a high, not the high ones, obviously the main four, but at least up there. Like, she could have been a really high-end consort in the end, but it seems like she chose to stay at Lihua's side. I kind of wonder, I don't think they mentioned it, I kind of wonder if that was a choice that she made in order to stay near Lihua because she wanted to sabotage her, or she just wanted to get in, at least in the good graces of the emperor, because in the end, Lihua was chosen. There's almost a thought process here that even if she did become another consort, she would never beat Lihua. Like, the emperor was going to go to Lihua and choose her and be at her side. This is the best bet. And yes, also the idea of sabotaging her, which, it sucks. It sucks in the end. But anyways, episode 30 of Apothecary Diaries, really fantastic episode. We found out in this episode that Maomao is currently, it wasn't just a joke, currently Maomao is looking for a way to grow them back. That was not just a passing joke at the end of the last episode. She's legit capturing a lizard, grabs its tail, and is going to experiment on it to figure out how it grows back. How tails grow back, because she wants to look into how to grow that back. That was a Maomao girl. Keep at it, girl. You just keep at it. I mean, again, at that point, seeing something like that, obviously she's going to be inquiring on how it actually worked. That whatever that reaction is, could you replicate it? It's logical. It's logical in the end, but no. Opening up the episode, of course, we have Maomao. She got caught. That doctor did end up spotting her. This lady at the clinic wants to meet her. I like the fact that Gyokyo says to bring in Yinghua, and I was like, why are they bringing her to the picture? What's the purpose of her going? And sure enough, like, when they finally get there, it looks like they just kind of sit her so that she could keep Maomao in check, but also to like be bad cop, I guess. Because, like, the entire time she's, like, keeping her in check. Like, don't go run off on your own. We know how you are. You're seeing something's happening. You're trying to jump out there. Make sure to get permission first. This whole thing that possibly is happening at the Crystal Pavilion, make sure to ask for permission first. And then, yeah, sure enough, she runs after the lizard. But no, like, when they get there and the lady's asking for her to make some medicine for this girl, like, immediately she gets mad. You realize that's going to put her life in danger? Like, you're asking her to do something that they're not supposed to do. I like how Lihua has to get mad for Maomao's sake. Like, she becomes the bad cop in the situation. But no, when they get there, one interesting note, when they first get to the clinic and they talk to the old lady, yes, her demeanor changes really quick. She now acknowledges that Maomao is actually working for the precious consort, which of course is Gyokyo. She's working for her, so thus Maomao is, yes, much more higher ranked than her. And so right here now she's suddenly showing respect and apologizing. But yeah, you can also probably equate to the fact that she needs her help. She needs her for something. But Maomao notes her eyes are green, which are common for the western region where Gyokyo is from. I don't know if that'll come up later on. That's something special. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people from the area. It's not like there has to be a connection just because the two of them are from this region. There's thousands of people there. But I don't know. It seemed like it went out of its way to point out that she's from there. But that aside, yes, they also note here that this girl went ill the moment that the caravan came there. Around the time the caravan was there, this servant went ill. Yes, the red flags immediately get thrown up there. The idea that suddenly this girl gets sick the moment the caravan shows up. Now, it can be completely unrelated, but there was a fear of me because they didn't really get into what she was ill from. Yes, they go into the idea that it was a fever and whatnot. It's something that could be treated, and yes, it's something that wouldn't really spread too well, but it's something that's treatable, obviously. And it seems like this is something that was used to cover up something else. So even though I kind of immediately suspected that something from the caravan or during the whole time of mixing the stuff to try to cause a problem for Lihua, they ended up, getting her sick as well, but it doesn't seem like it's related. It just seems like this is something that she used to sort of cover up the situation, cover up the fact that she had all that stuff there, and she wasn't treating this woman. Now, it is important to note that they said that they haven't seen this servant in half a month. And again, they got ill around the time that the caravan arrived. So this caravan's been there for a long time, which I would assume that the caravan didn't make that long trip just to be there for, a week and then disappear. I think they're kind of implying the idea that the caravan itself is kind of left the rear palace, like they're not selling their goods anymore, but the envoy's still there. But yeah, that's when we get a brief shot of Shin, and she's yelling at some servant, which we get to see the servant later on, which I thought was super sweet. Kind of find out this girl kind of just shows up in front of Maomao and is like, is she all right? And she's like, yeah, Lihua's taking care of it. She's paying for it and everything. She's going to make sure that she's taken care of. And this girl, of course, has the flowers in her hand, which kind of indicates that this girl was not only trying to bring this servant food and was trying to take care of her, but additionally, yes, she planted all the flowers that are around it, which were for this idea of bringing health to somebody. Kind of in the end, this servant pretty much saved this girl's life. Like, by all indications, this servant trying so desperately to help her friend, it does seem like she at least helped Maomao in some way, not directly, but helped Maomao find this girl, which is really sweet. But no, that's when the doctor arrives. The doctor arrives. It was a little bit of a gut punch there. Like when he first shows up, the quack shows up there, Gwen shows up there, and then suddenly all the lady in waitings are all kind of standing around going, oh, it's the doctor that couldn't save the emperor's son. That failure of a doctor. I feel so bad for Gwen. Dude has no confidence. He's just there like all just kind of stuttering to himself, trying to get in there. And yes, Maomao at his side, all dressed up, disguised. It's funny that the fact that Maomao is not really disguised right there. She doesn't have her freckles and stuff on, so nobody recognizes her. It's like her best disguise are freckles. But no, they have a letter from Jin. They want to meet with Lihua. And as they're walking in there, we get a sense of, at this moment, of Shin and her lineage. The fact that, yes, she's from this imperial family bloodline. She's very important. And yes, that she is the cousin of Lihua. And the two of them, of course, were sent to try to gain the favor and gain the love of the emperor. And we obviously see the end result that Lihua was chosen, but she was not. Additionally, noting the fact that all of the main lady in waitings are all nobles. So that Lihua is apparently being very well taken care of because they're all nobles. They're all meant to be able to serve the emperor himself. They're all special because they're nobles. But yes, that's when Maomao spots the shed. Now, it kind of made it feel like she heard the cough. But then later on, when Jinshi's asking her how she noticed it, she notes the flowers. But it's like in that scene, it kind of showed the cough, and then Maomao looks over, and I thought that was what was the indication for it. But that's when Gwen goes over there, and Maomao distracts her by revealing that it's me. It is I, Maomao. How did she put it? I'm not sure if that was like the direct translation or not, but she kind of put it like, sorry for not wanting to stay in touch. Or something like that. Sorry for staying out of touch. Like I don't want to stay in touch with you. But yes, they find the servant, find all of the incense and all of the perfumes and everything they have in there, everything that was apparently banned from the location. Additionally, treating the servant horribly. And yeah, I think this is the first indication we have that it's a little bit more in the earlier scene where she's treating that one servant horribly. But yes, it kind of gives us a sense here that this girl, Shin, is very much so full of herself. Like, yes, a lowly servant doesn't deserve much respect. Treating her horribly. Maomao's kind of putting it as, yes, she being here is right. You should be quarantining somebody. But at the same time, treating her this way and not getting her the right care, she's going to die. Oh, but that wouldn't matter much to you because it's just a lowly servant. Even kind of notes that later on, the idea that, yes, quarantine them is the right thing to do. That's not against the law. And yes, if she were to die, no one would even bat an eye. Again, another sad tragedy of being a lowly servant. Your life isn't really worth much. They don't really care. But yes, all that stuff there is part of the banned stuff from the caravan, and so they bring in Jinshi. Because Maomao is immediately knowing this is stuff to make an abortion drug. It's something to get rid of a child, which, yes, we've kind of noted a few times showing Lihua, holding her stomach. So it was already kind of a signal to us that Lihua was, in fact, pregnant. And we find out in this scene that, yes, she's in fact pregnant. And so the question mark really at this point for me was, okay, is it for Lihua or was it for Gyokyo? Because I did have a thought process, I think a few episodes ago, we did briefly see Shin and she did get some sort of letter and she looked kind of struck there. I wasn't sure if that was a indication that somebody found out that Gyokyo is pregnant and they leaked it to her, or was it confirmation that Lihua was? So I was kind of up in the air. And yes, this whole scene right here finally kind of confirmed that whole situation. That as she's finally confronted, she tries to blow it off that she never knew about it, but eventually, yes, Maomao realizes, no, you smell just like one of them. One of those drugs in there, you smell exactly like it. And how did you know that she has a fever? Why were you going to check in on this lowly servant? Like, all indications proving that you've been in there. You're checking on that place on a regular basis. Even if you're not going there to see the servant, you're going in there to check the stocks. And you're using that girl to cover up what was inside there. And it was like, what she put it as, yeah, I remember by coming back here that last time I was here, you used incense to cover up the sickness. Now you're using the sickness to cover up the incense. Really kind of sharp words there. But no, I love the fact that she's like, I can't really keep pushing this. Again, Maomao has kind of said it several times ever since like late first season. This concept that her father kept pressing upon her not to speak on conjecture. Do not speak out of line. Keep to only facts. Don't try to put things together and try to make it work just because it seems convenient. You have to get all the facts and make sure it's solid. But right here, Maomao's getting sick of this lady. This is one of my favorite things about Maomao, is that, again, it was like that first initial introduction to her being brought in to be a lady-in-waiting for Gyokyo. The narrator kind of goes through all the things that drive Maomao. And one of them was like this little bit of tad of justice. I believe it was, the way that was stated was a tad of justice. There is a sense here that Maomao can get angry. She can get sick of the situation. She can get mad. And this is a moment where she does get mad. Well, let me smell you. Let's see if this is that smell that is like you. Let me check. And again, another sign that this Shin lady was born and raised for the sake of being the empress. She was born and raised for that role. Again, that she sees everything below her. She even sees Lihua below her. Everything is below her. She's more important. So when Maomao comes up there, don't put your hands on me. You're a lowly servant. Even later on, Goshun, don't put your hands on me, you filthy eunuch. Like, everything around her is below her. But yeah, Mama was like, okay, so I can't touch you. Well, let's have somebody else touch you. Let's have somebody else take care of this and somebody else smell it. Again, even in the situation, Mama is acknowledging her position, that she is still technically below her. But that's when Lihua steps up. This is, again, this whole segment right here just freaking breaks my heart. I feel so bad for this girl. And the idea is she's like, well, what's the punishment? Let me handle this. What's the punishment, Jinshi? Well, if she's making an abortion drug, then yeah, she's murdering the emperor's son. Like, plain and simple. That punishment's death. I mean, they didn't say exactly what the punishment was, but I would assume that's death. That's killing one of the imperial family. You're dead. And that's when Lihua says, even my child. Which, yes, right there is the big confirmation to everybody. She's pregnant. Or at least she believes that she is. And yes, the question is, who is she after? Is she after somebody else? Or is she after me? Note, Lihua doesn't know if any of the others are pregnant. Again, Gyokyo's pregnancy is not publicly known. So unless somebody leaked it to her, I don't think that she would hint to them in that room that she knows about it because she got that information leaked. I believe right here, Lihua only believes that she's the only one that's pregnant. And so her conclusion would come to, she's after my child. My cousin, who I grew up with, and we were side by side for so long, wants to kill my child. She's after my child. But even still then, Lihua, right here, is being kind. Even after she again spits in her face, says, don't touch me, you're below me, don't look down upon me, Lihua still slaps her, says that she just merely insulted her enough that enraged her, and to get her out of here. In the end, she's just fired for a scandal. She's just fired in the end. Her cousin tried to kill her child and still thinks that she's below her, that she deserves that spot over Lihua, has been treating her like horribly, and yes, was allowing so many horrible things to happen to Lihua. In the end, she's still allowing it to be a slap on the wrist and walk out the door. My gosh, again, can we have some kindness given to Lihua? This girl deserves better. I feel so bad for this girl. She's put through so much crap. But no, that slap. But no, that slap. And again, there's so much emphasis in this moment given to Shin and how she believed that she was deserving of the Empress title. And I like how Maomao at some point, after she gets slapped in the face, after Lihua's like, is that not enough? I'll punch her. No, Lihua, stop. Lihua, stop. Maomao comes up and says, do you love the Emperor? Of course I do. Everybody should love the Emperor. That's what you do. Not loving the Emperor is unspeakable. Oh, well, I thought you loved the title of Empress more. Something that's not the case with Lihua. Lihua loves the Emperor, wants to bear his child, wants to be loved by him, seeking his love. You want to be the Empress. That's all you care about. You want that title. And again, it does play into how she treats other people. Lowly servants, always looking down upon people. Everybody else is below me. It's because she's already the Empress. And it is a sad reality. Don't get me wrong. I love to kind of try to think into the minds of these people. I like to try to figure out how they're ticking. And yes, I do acknowledge that Shin is a tragic story in itself because she's lived her entire life from birth. This is what you're going to do. From the moment she's able to think and move around, she's been molded for the position of standing at the Emperor's side. You will be Empress. Seek his love. Be at his side. Bear his children. That's been her entire life. And it's so tragic that it all led up to one moment. It's kind of like the concept of a gymnast, an Olympian, somebody that trains and trains and trains and trains and trains and trains. And it's all for one moment, one competition, one shot, one go. And then you trip and fall right after the starting line. How tragic is that? Now think about that from the standpoint of somebody from the moment before they even remember, they've always been working for this one moment where they stand in front of the Emperor and then he goes, I like you more. Turns over to Lihua and says, I like you more. You're going to be the next consort. You. Not you. You. How? It hurts. And again, that's, I think, what Maomao is pointing out there. You've always wanted to be the Empress. You've never cared about the person that was choosing. You're not after the love of the Emperor. You're after the position. That's what you want. Not Lihua. Lihua wanted his love. That's how you're different. Again, it's tragic. Again, in the end, it is tragic. It doesn't dismiss the fact that this girl is nasty for wanting to do what she was doing to Lihua. That's a completely different story. And it kind of makes me wonder, and I think that's kind of that aspect that I think that she's so in her mind believes that Lihua, it has the Emperor's son. Like it kind of makes it feel like that because she feels like she's about to lose. And she's trying to gain more time. So it does make me believe that, yes, she's trying to, as Lihua is doing this, as she's spending time with the Emperor, there's a thought process that during this time, she's trying to catch the Emperor's attention and possibly pull him over and do something. Again, it doesn't show signs that she's going out there and being one of the consorts, but she could be trying to catch his attention while he visits Lihua. I like how Maomao says they both came in here and she was just ill-equipped. She didn't have the goods. There was a huge gap in their breasts. I mean, the caliber and the concubines. It's so bad. But yeah, the slap from Lihua, oh, that felt so freaking good. That just felt so freaking good. Again, her going to punch. Like, girl. I like how Mama points out the fact that, yeah, she's changed. Like, back when I first met Lihua, she was sick. She was insanely sick. She was nearly dying. Maomao had to help her get back to full health. And that completely changed her. The loss of her child, that completely changed her. Now she's strong. But again, still loving by giving such a generous punishment to this girl. Like, she could have easily had her killed. She could have been sent to the gallows. But yeah, the scratches on Maomao, she made her look like a cat. Made her look like a cat. But no, that wraps up with Jinshi giving her a little napkin so that she can touch her face. It's silk. I don't want to ruin this fine silk. But then, yes, revealing how she found out. And then Maomao asking the important question. How did she know about it? How did Shin know about that? Who set up the caravan? All these massive question marks. Which, yeah, I kind of assumed that Jinshi would do something to see if they could possibly drill some information out of her. Not just send her on a way. Because she's probably just going back home at this point. Never allowed to come in there again. But again, Maomao doesn't want to speak on conjecture. Just to be careful. It's obviously bringing up once again Kusuriya. Kusuriya was something that Maomao has brought up before, and the idea of, whatever happened to her is kind of up in the picture. I mean, that whole like faked out thing there. That Maomao's only conclusion that it might be her, that she was somebody else just like her that was very, very well learned. This girl knows medicine, knows poisons. She's basically another Maomao. And so that was kind of the one person that she brought up very quickly, but we don't know where she is. But we could probably say that most of this stuff is sort of an aftermath of her being there. And yes, possibly from the outside, bringing in the caravan in the way that they're doing it in order to cause problems still. But yeah, we wrap up the episode with the Emperor meeting with Lihua. And at that point, her noting the fact that all the apothecary does is save me. She keeps showing up and saving me over and over again. And then it seems like the Emperor's troubled. And then she asks if something's wrong, and he says, nope, nothing. And then it shows like a building of some sort, which it does say in the preview, Shrine of Choosing. So I'm not sure if that's the Shrine of Choosing or if it's just the title for the next episode, Shrine of Choosing, and it's a different building. Curious what that choosing is. To throw a guess out, if he's troubled, if he's asking Lihua about the apothecary, Maomao, obviously the Emperor knows how valuable Maomao is. I'm wondering if there might be a side of the Emperor kind of questioning, I might need to do something to ensure Maomao's safety. I need to bring her into the mix. I need to appoint her something. I don't know why he hasn't yet. And again, that might be the fact that they're trying to produce change, but they don't want to ruffle feathers. And so they can't really appoint her anything because there's systems in place. There's people that expect to treat these women this way. And so maybe he's looking to change that. Maybe the Shrine of Choosing might appoint her to something. I don't know. But at any rate, that's basically it for the episode. Really, really, really fantastic episode. Again, my heart breaks for Lihua. I want her to be happy. Can we have a happy moment for Lihua? I hate this so freaking much. I love the girl. I want her to be happy, but at least she got to get some slaps and almost a punch in there. At least I felt good with the slap and the punch at later parts of it. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 30 of Apothecary Diaries. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below, comment, let me know it's the episode. Additionally, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. If you like this content and want to support channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. But until next time, y'all take care.